right, and we're back for will be part 20 of the IRC Bot in C from Scratch video series. Sorry for missing out last week. I learned the hard way that jet lag actually does make me really tired. So that's why I wasn't able to get anything done last week due to traveling. So I'm back, starting up again. Where I left off was, I believe I got testing working. I realized that I did not push up the latest commits that I did like 2 weeks ago. So I managed to do that last night, so everything should be up to date. So going from here, what I'd like to do next is continue testing the functionality of the application. I'm still missing some key components involving my command. Up to this point, I've been able to successfully parse out the prefix to an IRC command, the actual command, and now we need to work on the actual parameters. And I decided that the way I was testing before was a tad bit ridiculous. So testing this way should be a lot better than to open up an IRC instance and actually like try to go, have at it with live servers and channels. So that's why I started doing testing. And now I need to wrap this up, but I ran into another problem in an earlier video where this testing is fine, but I can't run the debugger through it because I think it's like a detached process that I can't really hook into. So testing in that regard should be a little bit more interesting, trying to debug without the debugger. So this might go a little bit slower, who knows. So all right, with that said, I'm just going to get started and have at it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and copy that this test, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it because now I need to actually start parsing out the commands here. Give it a new name. I always misspell that. I always put the A instead of the E. Test parameters. Okay, we'll just start with that. Alright. So we have our command, but now I need to actually assert that I'm actually getting back my parameters. So in true test-driven design and what have you, I'm going to go ahead and try to take that approach where what I want to test is that there's a parameter count that's greater than 0. So looking at the struct, I have a command parameter, or the IRC command is going to have a parameter count. So I should just be able to use that. Parameter count, and then I want that to equal 2 because we're going to have two parameters, some param and then the trailing ending parameter that can have an arbitrary number of whatevers, characters, spaces, what have you. Anything up to that point cannot have a space, but after that last colon, it can all be spaces and whatever characters after that. So let's go ahead and test it. It should fail, and indeed it does. Because right now it's set to, because right now it's set to 0. So now we need to add that functionality in there. And I shall do that by going to my parser right there. Get that going. let's see. So we got the prefix, we got the command. So this is where we left off. I believe all this is doing now for the parameters is just looping through the rest of the tokens until it finds an EOL. And once it ends that line, then it goes ahead and moves the state for the loop above to continue on execution. So we need to break this out to handle various parameters. So what we need to do is we need to, at the end of each space, we're going to go ahead and loop character by character until the end of each space. So let me see here if I don't have the spec pulled up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I always have to reference this. Don't have it in memory. Let's see here. Where was it? It was in like the 2s. Yeah. Okay, so looks like parameters can be 0 or many characters. With more in between, and then an optional space with trailing. I'm not entirely sure what the meaning of this equal slash. This one says many, 0 or I think 0 or many up to 14, and this one is just explicit 14. So the slash before is or, so it could either be 0 many or straight 14. But it doesn't look like it can extend past that. So, or no, wait, I'm sorry. Okay, I realize what's going on here. So, we have a max parameter, according to the spec. We have a max parameter count. I wonder if it's referencing that, because there's at most 15. So this is probably saying up to the 14 of any combination of space and middle. Okay, I see. And then the middle is just anything that's these characters. And then I don't know, including this, which is the same as that space trailing, because we can't. It has to always end with that. So interesting. I wonder if this means no. That can't be. That can't mean many of them. Oh, okay. Maybe it's. Yeah, I don't know. It can be a colon, or it can be a space, or it can be anything else. Many of those. Okay, maybe that's what that means. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we can have up to 14 of them. So we need to have some sort of counter. That'll be our parameter count. So every single time we establish a parameter, I'll go ahead and up that up to 15. And then once it hits 15, we can stop it. So why don't we go ahead and get started with that then. So at this point, I already have the message being passed in here. So I can always reference this to up it. So parameter count is 0. So we'll go ahead and this is going to loop character by character until end of line. So we'll need a way to do that in addition to check for spaces, and then up the count once we get a token, or once we get a parameter established. And then I think what I'll do then is Could have like another while true here just to loop over the token till it reaches the space. Lots of looping. Okay, so all right, we'll do while message parameter we have to be careful here because it could be like the end of line, so maybe we don't want to do that. Yeah, this kind of sucks having two loops like this. Whatever. So we'll have our big loop, and then we'll have our... Oof, I really need to get better at this keyboard. I swear it's a constant problem each video. So I'm going to break out of this one on space. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll keep the main one once we reach end of line. And then we're going to go ahead and advance it. So if okay, so we'll do space. We'll need to establish two states. We'll need to know if we're trailing or not. I might delete that variable later in like a refactoring step. So we'll break out of this loop. We'll go ahead and, I don't know if I need to advance it or not. Okay, we'll just take one thing at a time here then. So if token space, then we're going to break message parameter count. What was it? Command parameter count plus plus. Command parameter count greater than what is it? IRC spec max parameter count. So if it's greater than that, then we're going to break I guess we just keep going until EOL2 if once we're in that trailing piece. Okay, so we can go ahead and try this, see if our test passes. Still no. Ooh, crash. Wonder what happened there. Unexpected signal caught below this line. Interesting. Um, well, something bad did happen. I wish it would give me more information. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't do debugging mode because it's not going to let me do anything. Oh, it looks like it crashed in this part. I wonder what happened there. I can see if it's running these two things in parallel, it might screw up the state. Oof, I'd really hate to put these two things into the for each test. Yeah. Well, it seems to be happening consistently, so perhaps the crash happened in here. Great. Well, we could always do testing the manual way. Okay. See what that does. Looks like we still have a crash going on, but this is interesting. Wow, there's a lot of there should only be like not as many of that. Oh, well, no, we don't want to do that. That was a bad idea. Let's see here. So, I think what's happening is we're getting caught. Because once we reach that space, we break, comes back. Doesn't advance. We might want to have that advance. So that way it doesn't come back in there. I should probably do the e-token. What was that message? E-token. How did I do that elsewhere? Parser. IRC token. space. So we're going to go ahead and eat it to make sure it advances after the fact. Okay. And now we don't have our interesting errors. But it does appear we've reached an infinite loop. So we got 2 spaces. We should only have 1 technically, so we'll need to advance that before we get to this point. Which I can always have another test to make sure that, you know, what do we if we're handling the case if there's a space after here and then it ends the line, which that should just be a straight end of line, but there's always the possibility. Okay. Wow, my computer's like killing itself right now. That loop really did a number on it. Hopefully it's not still running. Let me go check that real quick. Let's see here. Something's still running it. I guess, I guess, this is a downside of having the, of having this test suite. Wow. Okay. Alright, so we're better now. There is definitely 2 processes running at 96% of my CPU, so that's definitely not good. So anyway, what we really want to see is yes, we want to see oh, I wonder if this actually before space reach is actually the other test. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's the other test that's also a part of this too. I should probably... Okay, so it looks like we do get to either this space or this space. And the parameter count goes up. But we are definitely reaching an infinite loop here. So we need to eat that and then keep going. And then we'll go ahead and catch that EOL here as well. Go ahead and add our debug markers in there. And then, so we'll keep going, keep going, keep going. Then we'll, once we reach EOL, we'll stop it. And then this will already be at EOL, which we shouldn't have to eat that token any further. That might cause a problem. Eating this token here, so maybe I'll just have a we'll go ahead and break it. Alright, so I want to go ahead and do like a force kill. So that way, even if it gets this gets reached, we won't get to, we'll try not to do anything else. We'll just try to kill it immediately once we get to that EOL. we may not even... Yeah, that could be a problem if we get to that point, but we can save that for another test. All right, let's see this. Okay. Okay, good. EO2. All right, so EOL2 is reached. We're gonna force kill it. Force killed, and then that's on the first one. Same thing happened on this one. They're the exact same commands. So the good news is nothing's being destroyed on my computer any longer. But I wonder what's causing that crash, though. That would be nice to know. Let's see here. Let's look at this loop up above. End of file. Okay. So we're going to try to eat end of file there. I wonder what that unexpected crash is all about. Okay, so we have the first space reached. I wonder what the parameter count is. We'll go ahead and print that out. If I can find it. Let's see. Ooh, I don't know. It's unsigned long, I think, or size T. I think it's like L. Long unsigned or something like that. I can check in a second. Command parameter count. Do that up above. All right. All right, so before we even like do the second one, yeah, we need to let's see. I think a good way to think about this is what would I do for one parameter at a time, instead of trying to think of every single situation going on right now. Okay, so if we're just going to do this one parameter at a time, then we know that the while is going to keep going until it either reaches a space or end of line. We know that one space is at least reached, so we increment that token. But really, the problem is that we may have something else after that. So it could be another space. So I'm thinking if I have another param, we should see 2 as the count, but really we have 3. Jewish Rambo, what is the point instead of doing Node or Python? Yes, I am a nerd. Okay, so what is the point of doing this in C? Why not? That's really the only answer I have to that. Practice, and then also just because it's difficult, and I like doing difficult things. Now I forgot where I was at. What was I doing or about to do? Right, so I added another parameter to it. To space reached. Okay, so we're grabbing this part and this part. So now we need to grab the third parameter. Which we can handle later because that's a special case anyway. So going off of this pattern here, we should have, I should try to do what I've been doing before and count and do the offsets. So if I just count the characters and then buffer, or then dynamically allocate a string for it and then copy from the offset over to the character count, that's actually a lot simpler than trying to establish some sort of buffer, do some copying, and make sure that everything is a-okay. So I like to keep up with that. So we know if we have the space right here is reached, then we know that we've gotten to at least here and here at this point. So I need to have... So while true, so this is the loop to produce our actual parameters. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here then is I'm going to reset the counter for every single so I'm going to reset the param character counter each iteration of this loop. And I'm going to go ahead and establish that up there. Set that to 0. And then because none of the special cases are handled, we're going to go, or because none of the interesting pieces have happened yet, we're going to go ahead and do the param counter up here. And then within this if statement, and possibly this one too, this is where I'm going to actually extract out the actual string and then put it into, well, okay, I'm going to ignore the special case for now. So then from here, I'm just going to take whatever's here and then create that string and then go ahead and insert that into my array. So let's go ahead and look at what I did before because I don't always memorize everything that I've done. Okay, so one thing I do need to be aware of is to explicitly add that null terminating character to it. And then I need to, well, that's where I'm doing the copy, but I need to do the allocate. So I'm allocating a string here. Okay, so I wonder if I have a special parameter. Oh, what do you know? Okay, I do have a special parameter. So I have to do two allocations. One to create the actual parameter struct, and then the other to actually do the string on the inside. So this should be fun. Okay, so we'll go ahead and create a pointer up there. IRC, what do I call it? Parameter. IRC command parameter. And it's going to be a pointer. And then here. Ooh, you know what? I could save some space if I go ahead and do a little quick logic refactor. So when we reach both of these cases, then we'll go ahead and do what we need to do. And then I'll just move this one on the inner to set the kill. You can do that after. Starting to get really messy. Okay. Then that way we can do both of those cases in here to grab these parameters. All right. Let's actually check to make sure that logic actually works. Oh, we are reaching the third one now, so perfect. Even better than what I thought. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I don't know about that crash. That's weird. Okay, so obviously that doesn't make sense to do it. Well, yeah, we want to do it at the top. No, we don't want to reset it there because, right, this is character by character, so we actually want to reset it each time we do another iteration of this. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our allocations. So we're going to up the parameter count. My param is going to be of type struct IRC command parameter pointer. And then we're going to do a malloc, and we're going to do the size of struct IRC command parameter. Okay, if null, this is like an out of memory situation. I'm not going to handle that. If you're out of memory, you're screwed, no matter what. So maybe swap will kick in and everything will run hunky-dory. So we're going to, let's see, we're going to allocate that. Next, we need to allocate the actual command string, so, or parameter string. So I'm going to go ahead and create another pointer. Needs to be char pointer. Param string. And then that needs to. We'll go ahead and set these to equal to null right off the get-go there, and then right off the bat. Is that unused? Yeah, unused. Okay, now I need to allocate that. So param string is going to be char pointer to malloc size of char times the length of the string, so param character counter, and then we're going to copy well, we're going to do first the param string at the param character counter is we're going to set that to 0 explicitly. And then we're going to copy it. Just going to go ahead and copy that line from there. Paste it here. Let's see, param character counter. So we have to get the current line. Plus the So here's the tricky part. I think I need to keep track of the total offset now, because I'm only going to grab the line once, or I can do the current position as well. I think my Lexer is keeping track of that current position, so I should be able to use that instead to calculate my offset. That might actually be a better idea than to grab. Well, we definitely need the line plus the offset of that, and then copy over to the. Now, I'm just gonna keep up with that. I'll go ahead and grab the current line once. What is it? Lexer, IRC Lexer, get current line, and then we have a parser. We're gonna get the Lexer from that. Okay, it should get the current line, so we establish that once. Then we need to get the Lexer, get current, or maybe parser. Wow, I guess I'm not keeping track. I do have the current tokens. And we'll go ahead and add API for that, because that might actually be helpful. I don't know if I should do like a size T or something. Yeah, because we do have the current column. What do I have that here? Size T, okay. IRC Lexer get current column. IRC Lexer pointer. I need to include my ints. What is it? It's like int types H. Does that have that size T? I don't think so. Is it UN? I wonder what that header. I need to recall what that header does. Wow, this is probably not the header I should be using. But I would figure it'd be in int types, because size T is pretty common, at least in C++. So I don't know. Let me take a quick look at that header again. Size T. Okay. All right. Whatever. This will work. This whole thing's dependent upon the POSIX spec anyway. We'll go ahead and include that. Have that dependency for this header. And then my Lexer, I got to add that function in there. Should be a trivial addition. Let's make sure I do it before all my privates. Size T, IRC Lexer, get current column. Alright, so that ought to do it. So now that I have the API established for it, I should be able to get the line plus the offset of the current character. which would be that space, so that's okay. Go ahead and copy that to param string up to the point. So from here to here, should go ahead and do that copy, and I'm going to set that last one to that. Null terminating character. And then I should be able to do message command parameters, and then now I can actually use the current one, which would be here. Should probably do the parameter count after the fact, so that way we keep up with that there, and then I can have that start at 0, position 0. And that's going to equal the param, but before I do that, I need to say param dot, what is it, param value needs to be the param string, and the param character, what is it, length, needs to be the param character counter, which is set to int. So go ahead and fix that. And should be able to print that out, which I still don't know, like, if it's like LLU or I don't even know. We'll just go ahead and keep it like that, and then I'll go ahead and print the string, so that way we actually have the command or the parameter so we can look at it, and then I'll just do param string and see what our output is for that. Oh, we're cutting off that M. Interesting. I wonder where this is coming from. Did it just like wrap itself back around? What? That is not expected. Let's do. Be nice to know which test this is for. Interesting. Okay. Oh well. All right. Well, I have about 10 minutes until my time is up. So, if anyone wants to chat or ask questions in the chat room, now's the time. I love it when people talk in there. I got somewhere tonight. Not exactly where I want to be, though, because that's kind of crazy that it appears to have looped over itself again. That's kind of weird. Yeah. What? Weird. Yeah, I don't know. It might have to do with the offset. Interesting. Yeah, there should be like no. Oh wait, hold on. It should be yeah. I wonder if there's like. Yeah, something's off. Okay, yep. All right, yeah, that's all I got for tonight. Tomorrow I'll go ahead and have this figured out, or we'll figure it out together, one of the two. But as always, this stream and code and everything can be found on my GitHub underneath the Elastic. I'm just going to move the tab over to here. So everything can be found under fredlaw/Elastic IRC Bot. I do the commit messages, the date of I do the stream. So, and then it will also include the YouTube video number associated with that. Today's date is the 9 something the 5th. So 2018 0905 will be the next commit to show up. YouTube link can be found below this video underneath the social section of the page. And thanks for watching. That's all I got. All right. Have a good night.